Fighting games can be pretty daunting once you get past simple button bashing. So I've made this quick video to help you understand the basics and terminology which carries across most games. I'm going to walk you through a few different important hints in no particular order. Most fighting games have a rock, paper, scissors style system built into it, as there are three main actions that a player can make in the neutral game: attack, block, and throw. Now this is grossly oversimplifying things, but bear it in mind. Attacking will beat players who are trying to throw you. Blocking will stop players who are trying to attack you. And throwing will beat defensive players who are trying to block. Fighting games are more about predicting and reading the opponent than about learning long combos. The combos help you to punish your opponent's mistakes, but it's much more important to land the hits in the first place. In most fighting games you can either block standing or crouching, and with most fighting games you have to hold back to block, with the exception of Mortal Kombat and Soul Calibur. This means there is always an opening for your opponent to attack you where you aren't guarding. Standing block will block high and mid hits, but you will get hit by low attacks. Crouching block will block mid and low hits, but you'll still get hit by high or overhead attacks. Look for patterns in your opponent's advances when defending. Do they keep sweeping your feet? Then block low more often. Do they do a lot of jumping attacks? Block while standing or use an anti-air attack such as a Shoryuken or Dragon Punch. On the other hand, when attacking a particularly block-happy opponent, you want to be doing what's known as high-low mix-ups. This essentially amounts to switching between lots of quick, safe, high and low attacks to try and poke a hole in their defences. There's also something called cross-ups. This is where you make your opponent unsure about which side they should be blocking. Try and jump over your opponent and hit them in the back of their head as you're jumping over. This can confuse players and make them block the wrong way. Don't be jumping around too much though, as it's a surefire way to eat a Shoryuken to the face. Although the buttons you'll be using in each game will vary, many fighting games have chain combos. Chain combos are built-in combos that will cancel the recovery time of a previous normal move. What this means is, there are often simple, built-in combos. Sometimes this will vary per character, but oftentimes these combos are universal, such as pressing a light, medium and then heavy attack in Skullgirls, or pressing a punch, slash and then heavy slash in Guilty Gear, or pressing light, medium, heavy, special in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Chain combos are a great structure to begin with when you're trying to find more optimal combos, and it's a good go-to when first picking up a new fighting game. Remember that not all fighting games and not all characters will have chain combos. Street Fighter 4, for example, is comparatively light on them. Cancelling is a term to describe when something interrupts the recovery time of a move. For example, normally here you would have to wait for Ryu to recover from his standing heavy attack before we can do another move. But if we enter the input for a Hadouken, he will cancel out of the animation and do that instead. This is working in the same way that chain combos do, stopping the previous move to quickly flow into another. There are multiple types of cancels. In many games, special moves such as Ryu's Hadouken will cancel normal moves. Often super moves will also cancel normal moves, and sometimes they'll cancel specials too, like in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. There are also jump cancels, where jumping will interrupt certain moves, allowing for an aerial follow-up. Dash cancels are also a thing, allowing either a ground or aerial dash to quickly extend your combo. Different games have different ways of cancelling your moves in order to extend your combos. Experiment. Moves can either be safe or unsafe. What this means is how much time does my opponent have to counter my attack if they end up blocking it, or if I miss. Most special moves and pretty much all super moves are unsafe. So if you try to throw them out randomly, a savvy player is going to punish you for it. Light attacks are usually much safer, offering no advantage or very little advantage if your opponent blocks them. So how does one use your stronger moves if they're usually unsafe? Well, unless you have a good read on your opponent and you know you can hit them with a big attack, you're going to want to combo into your unsafe moves. Poke your opponent until you get a hit and then cancel that hit into the next attack of a combo. This is called hit confirming. There are a few bad habits that you should avoid when first learning to fight. First, don't throw out big specials, supers and heavy attacks randomly. Pay attention to your opponent. Notice their distance and their behaviour, and use the moves suited for the current moment. It goes without saying then that you should know the moves of the character you're trying to play. Study the properties of each one. It's tempting to jump all the time, but doing so will usually be picked up by opponents. Many games don't let you block in the air, so while it's easy to get in and start a combo from the sky, it's also your most vulnerable position. The same can be said about constantly sweeping or constantly throwing your opponent. You need to mix up your moves to keep them scared. Be wary of your opponent's position and the reach of your attacks as well as theirs. Try and put yourself where you can do damage, but they cannot. If this isn't possible, find an approach that opens them up. Throw a slow fireball and walk forwards with it. Dash in and out to bait an attack. Fighting games are mind games first and foremost. And finally, have fun. You're going to lose a lot. Like tons, especially if you're playing online or in local get-togethers. But try and realise why you lost and learn for next time. That itself is one of the appeals of fighting games, the progression of the player. If you would like me to cover more on fighting games and fighting game terminology, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you for watching and have a good day.